Hey guys, and welcome to a showdown of the ages. I'm a Robert Duck of War, and today we have an awesome showcase between the mighty forces of Grand Cathay and the treacherous and ever crafty Tzeentch forces. So let's delve into this one. It's a domination game. It's on Eye of the North, a beautiful map. A particular big fan of the Halo-style Lizard Man ring that is kind of half fallen down but kept up still by the magical might of the old one. Sounds like the big Lord of Change trying to steal my thunder and do a bit of a battle speech there. It's always good to see one of these giant floaty duckies in action. He's coming in with Searing Doom, Plague Rust, and Final Transmutation, a decent set of spells. Probably familiar to a lot of you who have used Law of Metal over the course of Total War Warhammer 1 and 2. With a load of Forsaken, they're going to be saturated on top of by Spawn of Tzeentch, which is always a nice combination. We have Blue Horrors, we have even more Blue Horrors and Spawn, as well as the Blazing Squealers. Certainly a fantastic utility unit brought in with the latest Regiment of Renown. I like these little fellas quite a bit. They're hilarious, they like to scream and shout quite a bit, and that's what you need on the battlefield. For the forces of Grand Cathay, we have a Skyjunk actually leading the battle charge as a general, with the very, very important Great Longmar Riders, an Alchemist coming in with Final Transmutation and Searing Doom. Looks like both players are thinking relatively similar here. We have a mixture of Woojing Compass, Peasant Long Spearmen, Jade Warrior Crossbowmen, Peasant Archers, the lot all brought down here in the back. Actually, I don't think there's any Peasant Archers here, but we've got some Peasant Long Spearmen for sure. The Furies and Screamers have been summoned to try to deal with the Great Longmar Riders. There are Halberds and more Jade Warriors on approach, and double Great Longmars have now been summoned to the battlefield. They're going to be needed because there's a lot of Screamers in the air, there's a lot of Furies, as well as this big Lord. Despite the fact they got hit by a Final Transmutation, the Air Core is pretty damn scary for Tzeentch. We have a Summoned Fury coming in from the ability of the Exalted Lord of Change. Looks like they will probably be able to drag down this unit of Great Longmars. There is a ranged support, though, and that's going to certainly add up, though. It looks like we're going to see a second Final Transmutation, this time for the forces of Tzeentch, catching both of the Great Longmar Riders out. That's going to do some significant damage for sure. And now the enemy general's a little bit open here, and I think the Screamers probably want to float over and start dishing out some pain and damage. Grand Cathay have formed a nice defensive block here on the objective, looking to hold it nice and early, and Tzeentch is just bodying down, barreling down this lane into the death pit. That is the Grand Cathay army. A mixture of Spawn and Spawn as well as Forsaken should be able to push through it relatively easily, I would think. They are getting obliterated on the approach by a decent amount of magic, as well as pressure coming in from the fire rain rockets of the Skyjunk. Big Comet does come down, doing decent damage onto the Forsaken. That is always good to see. The air battle is still being fought, despite having the support of these Jade Warrior Crossbowmen down on the low ground. It looks like the Screamers, in combination with the Exalted Lord and his pesky magic, has actually been enough to force back the Great Longmars. One unit has been terrified, the other one's still alive, and it does seem that, in general, the Grand Cathay player thinks they've won the air games. They've also summoned in a Lord Magistrate on a glorious war balloon. Searing Doom comes down, really punishing the Halberds quite badly there. Those guys down to half HP. They've been hit by a couple of spells now, and with the Blazing Squealers supporting this front line, they are grinding their way through the Grand Cathay infantry relatively quickly and effectively. Though there are spears in here as well as Halberds, the Spawn aren't going to enjoy that too much. Luckily, the Forsaken are here to try to help out their little buddies there and ensure they can drag their way through as much enemy infantry as physically possible. The air battle rages. The Screamers are going after the Skyjunk, which is always a little bit of a trap. You definitely want to kill the Great Longmars before you do this, otherwise you just get rear attacked and destroyed, and those Skyjunks tend to have a significant amount of HP. Blue Horrors are being summoned. It looks like neither player has yet gone for their home objective, though both are now making a move. Jade Warriors and Peasant Longspearmen on the way to Objective 1, and we have some sneaky Blue Horrors on their way towards Objective 3. More Furies have been summoned, applying a bit of pressure. Looks like the Great Longmars have once again been forced back. Lovely bit of lightning comes clattering down from the skies, however, onto the Forsaken, doing some massive damage. It's looking pretty solid in the middle still for Grand Cathay, although they do get baited into their own Celestial Comet. Oh no! Lovely micro coming in by the Tzeentch player. He spotted that, pulled back, and it dragged the Jade Warriors into a torrent of hellfire, of which they shall never recover. Blue Horrors continue to launch plasma grenades from the top. It always remind me of grunts from Halo for some reason. I think it's just the manacled screams and the Granadas. So, up in the sky, Skyjunk is starting to go down. Exiled Lord of Change is really getting his dusty little duck beak dirty, trying to pop that balloon as swiftly as possible. It's got a load of HP, though. Lord Magistrate is here to support. Objective 1 has been claimed now by Grand Cathay. The Furies are being finished off, but not before they should hopefully drag down these Peasant Long Spearmen and put them back where they belong in the dirt. The Blazing Squealers, alongside the Blue Horrors, doing some lovely crossfire onto the Jade Warriors and Halberdiers, who are just tanking the damage quite nicely so far. But it does look like the fight for the middle is slowly turning more and more in the favor of Tzeentch, but that may be corrected. There is a Terracotta Sentinel on arrival to prove a big opponent if the Blazing Squealers do indeed get forced off. Objective 3, we just have the Blue Horrors sitting there idly, which is absolutely fine. It just kind of is a bit of a deterrent for any sneaky Grand Cathay play get onto that objective quickly. Crossbone have been forced back, and it looks like they are going to leave one unit of Spearmen on the far objective there and bring the Jade Warriors into the middle. The Skyjunk is terrified. I do not blame it. There's been a duck literally knocking its beak against the balloon for quite some time now, and down the Skyjunk goes. A sad sight to see as it melds through the floor in just pure shame. Terracotta Sentinel is fighting hard in the middle. There are Blue Horrors nearby for support. Unfortunately for this Terracotta, the Blazing Squealers in combination with the Blue Horrors applying huge damage with that Warp Flame active, giving him that weakness to fire damage, as well as a negative 10 armor. That doesn't seem like a big negative to the armor, but hey, every little helps. He's certainly taken quite a pounding now from the range core there of Tzeentch. Big Bird up in the sky. Final Transmutation has come down once again. Definitely needs to pull out of here, try and replenish that Proton Shield, then come back into the action once he's feeling a little bit more topped up and juicy. Forsaken are duking out with Jade Warriors here in the middle. Great Long Mars have once again been summoned into action and be trying to shut down this little firing position that Tzeentch has set up for the majority of the battle. But there is so much fire pressure coming from all angles. You see the generals of the enemy are starting to falter. Big flames and fires of Tzeentch pour down on the Jade Warriors, who raise their shields in a desperate attempt to protect themselves from this magical barrage. I don't think it's going to do them much good, as yet another spell is being summoned. And yeah, this isn't going to go too well. So much fire all coming down on the Jade Warriors. That unit has certainly seen better days. Blue Horrors do need to push into the objective, though. They are using up their ammunition before making their final march. Certainly want to cap objective 2 as swiftly as possible. That ticket advantage is relatively solid for Grand Cathay at the moment. Looks like they also may do a sneaky push onto objective 3, which I would be a big fan of. Currently, though, their forces on the battlefield are dwindling really badly here. I'd certainly say Tzeentch are in the ascendancy, despite the fact they have that ticket disadvantage at the moment. Wujing War Compass, get out of here, flee, save yourself, says the Terracotta Sentinel. I will drag them away and hold them back as long as physically possible. The Screamers are all about that, though. They're nipping at him, doing some roly-polies, trying to get that real Flatfish jiu-jitsu on board. I always call them Flatfish because that's what I used to call those, oh my god, are they Rayfish? As a kid, I always used to call them Flatfish. That's what they remind me of. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, and people can give me the correct terminology down below. It will click in my mind probably just after I press end recording. Blazing Squealers and Blue Horrors are raining shots in on the Terracotta Sentinel. He's doing some awesome moves. He's whipping around that halberd with deadly accuracy and some real martial prowess here. It made the High Elves proud, but it doesn't look like he's going to live too much longer. The Blazing Squealers as well as the Blue Horrors in combination are just rinsing him. I'm interested to see how much value these little fellas have got so far. Up to nearly 1.4k there, 108 kills. Very, very impressive stuff. Terracotta Sentinel not enjoying his life at the moment. Seems like he may soon be going down. It looks like the central objective is once again starting to be capped by Grand Cathay. It's very hotly contested. Objective 3 still all Tzeentch, baby. But Objective 1 is still Grand Cathay. Now, we do have Furies in the back. It looks like a rather eager summon of the Crane Gunners looking to get back into this game by doing some nice long-range damage. Maybe a bit premature here because there's still a lot of Furies in the skies, though they are being beat back by Spearmen now. Likewise, we have a unit of 15 Long Mars who need to come back. It's a real tricky position, though, for the Grand Cathay player to realise he has them, because normally when you're doing reinforcements, you're not kind of sitting all the way back here. Any new players, I would recommend every, I don't know, 20-30 seconds or so, just have a little look at all your units down on your bottom bar and make sure they are doing what you think they're doing. Trust me, it helps out quite a bit, even if you feel like it distracts you from other levels of micro. Jade Warrior Crossbowmen are now unleashing hell, trying to get a bit of revenge on the Blazing Squealers. It looks like the Blazing Squealers may soon go down. They've certainly had better days, at least HP-wise. They've had a fantastic day murdering the enemy, and who wouldn't have a fantastic day doing that? But the Blazing Squealers do seem that they maybe have thrown their last plasma grenade for the day. Chaos Furies as well as these Screamers are just screaming across the battlefield now, looking to get into Grand Cathay's deployment zone and really overwhelm them where possible. Objective 1's even fallen into the hands of Tzeentch, going for that deadly triple cap. Forsaken are ripping and tearing into the peasants who have formed a makeshift spear wall. I don't think it's going to help you, lads. Maybe you'll hold them back for a few moments, hopefully for reinforcements to arrive, but this battle really has swung drastically in favor of Tzeentch. Interesting to see if the Grand Cathay player can get back into this. More blue horrors are on arrival, pressing towards objectives, and the middle is all Tzeentch. It looks like the Blazing Squealers are still alive, and they've just given ammunition to the blue horrors. Lovely play there. Awesome to see the Conduit of Infinity actually brought into action. I haven't seen it used too often just yet in replays I've seen recently. Jade Warriors are just, oh my god, this is a death pit. Really getting the vibes of the Battle of Cathay here, just completely surrounded by the enemy, getting obliterated by the brilliant tactical mind here of the mighty giant exalted Dark. Although it looks like he may have retreated off the battlefield. No, he's still here. What am I talking about? Of course he would never retreat. He's a duck. He was bred for war, born for war, and he shall bring it to all the realms of mankind. Did a decent job, the exalted Lord of Change. Rather impressed with his performance so far. It looks like Grand Cathay putting a big push onto their home objective, looking to claim it. They still have the ticket advantage, but it is certainly starting to dwindle, particularly with the triple cap. Oh, it's not even a triple cap yet. They've still held objective 1. Okay, that is pretty big news. It looks like they will have to fight for one of the objectives, however, and it looks like the Forsaken are now being surrounded by Peasant Horsemen, but Peasant Horsemen don't actually have that much push, and the Forsaken will most likely be able to carve their way through the Peasants, I'd think, relatively successfully. I'd like to see the Peasant Horsemen give it a good go. They are surrounding the Forsaken, trying to claim this objective. It looks like they're holding on to it, at least for now. But yeah, the Forsaken will have their way, I believe. It looks like the Great Longmire Riders have managed to shut down the Furies in the sky once more. But look at this war host of blue and pink horrors in the middle. There's some Jade Warriors coming back, but things are looking really, really bleak right now for Grand Cathay. It is indeed a triple cap. They do have one last push here, realistically, and that's to get these Jade Warriors and Longspearmen in the action. They could make a dash for Objective 3. I would apply all of my units to Objective 1, get a single unit of Horsemen, and start applying pressure to Objective 3, because they're going to need the double cap at this point. It looks like the Screamers have delved down onto the Great Longmires. They're quite a nice counter. I believe 1-on-1. The Great Longmires will indeed be victorious. The Screamers can punch quite heavily above their weight, particularly when supported by ground forces like this. You've just got to bide your time, wait for the Longmires to commit to a fight, and that's when you swoop in and take the heads from the enemies. And it looks like Grand Cathay, they're not going to get the double cap. They can't even cap their own home objective at this point. It is looking incredibly bleak. But as I say that, there is a small opportunity here. We have Jade Warriors as well as Peasant Horsemen moving towards Objective 2. We'll have to test here how good the Tzeentch player's awareness of the battlefield is. He's kind of applying all his pressure to Objective 1. And it looks like he is starting to lose Objective 2 here. Still no pressure on number 3. It looks like he is going to respond with some Furies of his own, moving in to help secure this objective. With Furies in the back, this game is certainly over. We're only delaying the inevitable at this point. Grand Cathay cannot muster enough forces in their short lifespan left. They do come in with a Woojing Compass, do some nice flashy damage at the end. That's all it is, flashy damage, no substance there to claim victory. Very well played to these two players. I can't remember who sent this one in, I'm really sorry. I've completely forgotten your name, but unfortunately the game doesn't currently show names up at the top. Hopefully that's going to be worked on. I'm assuming that will come in when they fix the chat box and update all of that kind of cool stuff. I wonder when that is actually coming. I don't know if that was on the roadmap. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty excited when that stuff comes back, particularly the chat box. It makes the online experience quite a bit considerably better, though I do appreciate they're trying to improve it because of its inability, I think it was, to like stop abuse and that stuff, and obviously we don't want that in the game, so I don't mind it being gone for now, but I am eager to have it return. That was an awesome game, honestly. Really cool Air Force as well, 1.3k Sky Junk, and how did the Lord Magistrate do? Not great, unfortunately. Terracotta got sent down. I think the Longmires, only 2 units would probably be enough. If you didn't have so much reliance on the Air Force and the air balloons. Woojing Compasses are really good at the moment. I've actually seen them. I think actually one of my last replays was Quad Woojing Compasses. They're pretty badass, and I think they did some decent work here. 1.6k on the Blazing Squealers, 3.7 on the Exotic Lord of Change, though. Proving just once and for all that the duck is the superior species to the human, which is something I feel like we've all known deep down for quite some time. Make sure to feed your ducks at your local pond to escape their wrath. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a good fun one in general. If you guys did enjoy, I'd really appreciate a big oh my god, my words are being jumbled. A big, fat, juicy thumbs up, as well as a little comment down below what you thought of the battle and what you'd like to see in the future. Feel free to subscribe as well if you haven't already and you're new around here and you'd like to support the channel. My god, these screamers. Look at that, 1.5k and 2.1k value there. We're actually, again, very close. Going back to the matter of subscribing, very, very close to 10k, which is certainly some exciting stuff indeed. And I'm looking forward to probably doing a celebration stream. I've been out for quite some time with the streaming game, mainly because I've been recovering from surgery, and then I'm kind of recovering as well from having to be a little bit ill and take a load of antibiotics and stuff. But we'll be back to that soon, and particularly for that 10k, we'll do a celebration stream, which I'm looking forward to quite a bit. So until next time, guys, peace, and as always, stay awesome.